I honestly was so grateful to be listening to these chairwomen, to be, just in there studying alongside them this week. I truly enjoyed it, even though I was the one who put it on. I enjoyed it. I didn't know which direction it was going to go. I didn't even give them a topic. I just told them the title of the call, and they literally came up with it all on their own. Okay, so I just want to take a couple of moments before I even get into what I want to say. Um, is I want a couple of people to raise your hand. I'm gonna unmute you and just share with the family. Maybe something that you received, maybe something that hit home, or something that you enjoyed. If you want, you can turn on your camera so we can see you. But I do want to hear like some actual feedback other than, yeah, I got value, it was cool. Whether it was a specific speaker or something that somebody said, or maybe it was just a feeling that you had. I would love to hear from some of the family just to get some feedback on what you received this week, or what really hit home for you. So, you guys can raise your hand. If you don't know how to raise your hand on Zoom, I believe it's like one of the options at the bottom of the screen, or you could just type me in the chat box. That works too. But I do want to hear from just a couple of people. You don't have to be long, but something short, quick, as to something maybe you received or something that you liked. Okay. So okay, let's hear from Markel. Hey, sis.
Sorry, sis, I was trying to unmute myself. Hey, how you guys doing? Let me actually turn my camera on for a few seconds. I'm in the car. But no, I just wanted to talk about what actually Harmony had went over last week. I mean, not last week, last night. She was talking about, I had posted on my story, but she was literally just giving a bunch of gems if nobody was on a call last night. But one of the things that she did say is that God is the GPS and you are the address. So that for me really like hit home because it really made like a lot of sense as far as just different things that you want and you ask for it in this business, even just in your regular life. You have to actually know where you're going. And then another thing that she mentioned as well is that you want to plan for every season. And that's something I've never heard of before. So I was like, wow, that actually hit home for me because it was just kind of like, instead of having these year-long goals or having these real big goals that seem like they take forever to actually, accomplish, if you break it down based on the season, then it's easier for you to focus on certain things at a certain time versus you just trying to accomplish a million things over a span of 365 days. If you really break it down into the season, you can really keep yourself on track as far as, are you hitting these goals? Are you really getting to the places that you want to go? Because every time the season is going to change, you should already be accomplishing at least a good percent of the goals that you already set out for yourself. So that's just what I wanted to mention from the stuff that Harmony had actually spoke on last night.
Yes, that was very good, Markel. I had never heard that either. So that was like my first time kind of hearing that too. But it was so good. It was like it was almost so obvious, but still it was like I never thought of it that way. I never thought to do that. So that was really good. I remember that. Anybody else? Maybe like, oh, I sound low. Hold on. Maybe like one or two more people. One or two more. We don't have to do too much because I do want to talk today, but at least one or two more. I just kind of want to hear, from a couple people if you're in a place to talk. Does that sound better, Chess? Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Okay, perfect. Okay, my girl Faith. Let's hear from Faith.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Happy Saturday. So everything has been like really, really great. I've gotten a lot of value from the Miss Dominic call so far. But yesterday it really, really hit me when Harmony was talking. And it kind of related, well, it does relate to me on so many levels because she was just saying how like no matter what goes on, like no matter, all the trials, all the tribulations, all the tests, like you really just have to keep going no matter what. Like she said, she lost two uncles in the same month. She kept going. She crashed her car. She kept going. She even had to move back in with her mama at some point, but she kept going. So it's like no matter what, you have to keep going. And I know like how hard it can be, how discouraging it can be to go through things and just be like, I should just give up. Like, why should I keep going? Like all of these things are against me and, point me in the direction of giving up. But you have to literally just keep going. You have to just keep going, like no matter what. And that's what I love about anybody who just, goes through things and they get through these things and they just keep going. I just found that like so inspiring. So that really hit me. And that was just so relatable on so many levels. So I'm really enjoying this Dominate Her.
Love it. Thanks, Faye. Okay. I want to know, give me some feedback on day one. So day one was with Tia Bolden. Day one was with Amber. And day one was with Sai. Right? Okay, let's hear from Leah. She said, oh, me. Okay, let's hear from Leah.
Hey guys, so I can't turn on my camera, but the first day was honestly everything for me. I texted Taylor. She had asked me pretty much what, stuck out to me the first night. And I was just really telling her how like I had really been praying and asking God to like reveal to me what I'm not doing, what I need to do to kind of like get to that next level. And when Amber said, give me 1 second, to dominate in this business, you have to dominate in yourself. I really sat there and I just was reflecting like, what am I not being honest with myself with? And so I'm like a big procrastinator and I'll put everything off. And so it's like, I've never really been honest with myself about that. So it was like that conversation that she had really made me take a look in the mirror and just be like, wow, like there's so many things I'm really not doing that I should be doing. And that's why things aren't happening for me. So the first day was everything, honestly, truly. And I'm just so thankful, Taylor, that you put it together because I'd been praying for it and God really just like used you to give me the answer that I was looking for. So thank you.
I'm so happy. Yeah, I talked to Leah and a couple other leaders. After the first night, I had asked like some specific leaders. And the responses were amazing. And that's what Miss Dominate was really, well, we'll get into that in a second. We'll get into that in a second. Let's hear from Janae real quick.
Hello there.
Oh, and everybody put happy birthday in the chat. It's Janae's birthday.
Thanks,
Happy
guys.
birthday, Janae.
Yo,
We love you.
I'm glad Crystal called me and woke me up because I was knocked out, y'all. I've been working all day. Y'all, Miss Dominate, Janae was dominating today. Cause yo, let me tell y'all, first of all, I signed up an NFL player. Second of all, I popped a P150. I can't tell y'all who it is yet. Like, yo, that call for real. I was kind of doing this like before the call, but it was like what I started doing was, I already have like my stuff on my wall, not in my room. You can't see it in here because I don't be in my room. I be falling asleep on the floor in the living room, y'all. But I started like writing like for certain prospects that I feel like they're supposed to be in my business. I started writing. I'm so happy and grateful now that so-and-so has joined my business today. And I would write that on my wall and then they joined my business. And I was like, what? But then I also, okay, let me tell you what I took away. Sorry, I'm talking too much. But let me tell you what I took away. So y'all don't talk about me. But I just learned that I need to read my Bible because I don't be reading it. I be like listening when y'all be talking about it. And I be like, because I was talking to my mom about something. I was like, what's that man name in the Bible? She was like, Janae, if you don't read your Bible, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. So I read my Bible today. I was like, wow. But yeah, that was my biggest thing for real, is read your Bible. Because that's the part that I was lacking, like the spiritual side. So it was just like, okay, like why didn't I hit P2 yet? But that's why. But yeah. Thanks, Taylor. This was like so amazing. I loved it. I was just like, oh my gosh, we need to do this every day.
I'm so happy you said that. The good news is that we are doing it again next week. Cat's out of the bag. One more time before Miami. There is a part two. There is a part two to Miss Dominate. I'm not gonna tell you guys who's gonna actually be speaking, but just know it is some heavy hitters on the call next week too. Um, and we'll talk about that a little later. So I'm grateful how you guys showed up for Miss Dominate. It was maxed out every night. Um, and like I said last night, I felt like I truly needed it. And so hopefully you guys aren't tired of taking notes. Are you tired of taking notes yet? Let me know honestly in the chat. Are you tired of taking notes? How you feeling? Because I definitely got something for you. And I definitely have some value to add to the conversation and to just kind of sit on your heart. Number one, shout out to you guys for being on the call at 10 p.m. on a Saturday. I know there's other things you could be doing. Some of you guys are probably still doing them, but got me in your ear. Shout out to you too. And I appreciate your sacrifice. I appreciate you locking in. I appreciate you day in and day out doing this right alongside me. So let's hop into it. So when I came up with honestly, I didn't come up with the idea of Miss Dominate. A lot of my ideas come from God speaks to me. Like for me, I'm a very creative person. As you guys know, I used to be a graphic designer. So when God speaks to me, it's in my creativity. That's how he usually speaks to me. And so in my notebooks, I have a lot of half pages, and basically one page is my notes and the other half of the page is what I feel like God is saying to me in that time. And it's usually in times of when I'm at an event or maybe I'm praying, but specifically in the business, it's literally when I'm at events. I kid you not, I could be at an event and God would just start speaking at the same exact time somebody else is speaking. And so I start doing this thing where I have like a half page where I would write what the person's saying and then also write like ideas that God is dropping into my spirit. And Miss Dominate, I got the idea for this particular event. What event were we at? We were at, I believe we were at Run the Play. Yeah, I think it was Run the Play. And I didn't have I didn't want to do it right then though. It was like God gave me the idea to kind of put on the back burner. So even though I had the idea, I didn't start working on it or anything like that. So obviously I was very grateful for the idea and everything. But it really just started to sit on my spirit kind of. And it just really I didn't feel the need to bring it forth yet, simply because I just didn't feel inspired to yet. But the last couple of weeks in my life have been very interesting, to say the least. And I've been doing this dance with God for some time now. So I kind of understand how these things go. You know, no way or shape or form did it make me doubt him. Did it make me question, his plan or question what he was doing? It was just, this is just life. And I began to think about the different situations that's happened in my life. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is where this whole idea of dominate came from, right? And when I really thought about it, you guys, to be honest, before this opportunity, I wasn't dominating in any area of my life. Did anybody feel like that? Like, I wasn't dominating anything. My boundaries, I wasn't dominating my mind. I wasn't dominating my friendships. I wasn't dominating my relationships. I definitely was not dominating my love life, for sure, right? I was not dominating in anything. I didn't live a horrible life, but domination was not something. I didn't have control. And like, for example, friends, I felt like I used to really cry and pray about this. Like, God, like, please give me friends. I know that might sound crazy to some of y'all, but I'm like, Lord, like, can you just please give me at least one friend, two friends? Like, is it really gonna hurt you that bad to give me a friend? And the friends I would have, it would be like we just wouldn't mesh after some time, or something would happen where, you know, it would be like a betrayal or something like that. It was just always something when it came down to friendships, relationships. The last relationship I was in, a lot of you guys know, was abusive. So you're not dominating in an abusive relationship. But even relationships before that, it was his way or the highway. It was, I felt more like a shadow. I was the woman on the arm, the woman on the side, not dominating in that area. Mentally, I was negative. You know, I didn't have major self-confidence. You know, when I was in high school, I want to say like maybe like my junior or senior year, I stopped eating. It was like, and I got super skinny. Like, I'm talking about super thin, super skinny. And it really impacted like my body image, basically like just like a borderline eating disorder. So I wasn't dominating in how I felt like I looked. I wasn't dominating in my self-confidence, my like how I felt about myself. The only area that I somewhat could see potential of how I could dominate was spiritually. It was like whenever I was praying, whenever I spent time with God, or whenever I took time out, it was like God would show me a preview of the type of person that I could become. But you got to understand, I had lived a life of not dominating. So the preview, even though it looked good, I didn't truly believe in that preview. I didn't truly believe that it was something that I could do. It looked good, it sounded good, but it wasn't something that I had ever experienced. And I used to get really discouraged because I felt like God gave me desires that I'd never seen before. For example, a confident woman who owns her own business, but was also married and had a family. I had never seen that before this opportunity. A woman who loved God, but also was about her bag. I never seen that before this opportunity. I had always got conflicting views about these different things. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I want you to think about certain areas of your life and things that have happened in your life where maybe you weren't dominating. See, this is bigger than Forex and HFX. This is life. You get me? How you do one thing is how you do absolutely everything. So if you've never dominated in the fact of in just your life in general, something like finances just wouldn't allow you to dominate either. You get me? So I last year, well actually no, 2019, I have the date right here. In 2019, I was going to this church in California. And for the first time ever, I heard this pastor talk about dominating in your life. And he said, it is God's will that you dominate in life. It is God's will that you dominate in life. And he talks about the scripture, which I believe that Tia went over, which was crazy because Tia brought it up. It's in Genesis. And God said, let us make man in our own image, after our own likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the fowl of the air, the cattle, the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, right? So, but let them have dominion, basically dominion over everything. And then he goes on, the pastor goes on to say that the things that God expects to happen in your life. So he goes to Matthew. And then I'm sure you guys have all heard, the prayer, right? The daily prayer, right? And a part of the prayer in Matthew, it basically says, let me actually put up because I don't want to paraphrase. Here it is. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And so basically the pastor is basically talking about how God expects you to dominate, and that he expects you to have a heaven of sorts on earth, right? I'm not trying to get super deep spiritually with you, but just, try to follow along with me. And he basically talks about how we're meant to live in control, because when you are out of control, when things are out of control, you make bad decisions. That's just true. Think about it. If you just eat out of control all the time, you're not going to make a good decision to get a salad. It's just when things are out of control, you make bad decisions. And so he goes on to talk about just, how important dominating is, and just how impactful it is in your life and how important it is to be able to do that. And you guys, I'm listening to this sermon, and it sounds good. I'm hearing them, but if I was to be quite honest, I didn't believe it. See, some of you guys heard from Tia, you heard from Amber, Sai, Kadeen, Harmony, but there's a part of you didn't really believe it. And I'm not saying that you didn't hear them, you did hear them, but a part of you has never operated in that much dominion. Everybody put dominion in the chat. Put dominion in the chat. And there's 3 areas that God calls us to have dominion over. And I want to talk about those tonight. Okay? 3 main areas that we are to have dominion over. Okay? And the reason why this is important is because, well, let me just get to it. The first one is self. Everybody put self. That's the first area to have dominion over. And we talk about this all the time. You know, fix yourself before you go try to fix other people. You know, but this is the first area that we're called to have dominion over, right? Now, in particular with this business, that could mean a lot of different things. It could mean like what Leah talked about, procrastination. There has to be some dominion in that. And the first way is to speak to it. To speak to it. And the pastor, he talks about, you know, when the enemy was basically tempting Jesus. And he's like, well, if you're the Son of Man, then do this. And if you're really God, then do this. And if you're really this, then do that, right? And first of all, Jesus is up there because he's literally fasting. It was 40 days and 40 nights. So he was demonstrating dominion over yourself, dominion over and sacrificing, dominion over your desires, right? Dominion over different things like that. Now, the biggest thing though is that you speak to it, right? You just speak to it. So to have dominion over yourself, for example, if I know I'm procrastinating, no, you need to get up. Come on, let's get to it, right? It's gonna be the most productive day I've ever had this entire year. That's a way to exercise dominion over yourself, right? By just speaking to it. So in this particular business, in this particular space, to dominate, the first area you want to dominate is yourself. It wasn't until I got so sick and tired of myself that I began to dominate. I don't know about you guys, but when I got this opportunity, I was sick and tired of nobody else but Taylor. Meaning, Taylor, I'm tired of you putting up with all this stuff. I'm tired of you not getting what you want. I'm tired of you. I'm tired of these excuses. I'm tired of all the things that you're bringing up. I'm tired of being sad. Like, I was just literally speaking to myself. Like, I'm tired of you. It's not because of this person. It's not because of that person. It's not because of your parents. It's not because of that friendship. It's not because of that relationship. It's not because of, it's you, right? And why I love Leah's answer so much when I talked to her was because she didn't talk about anything else but herself. And that's how I know that she really heard what the speakers were saying. See, it had nothing to do with a Tia or Amber. It had to do with you. So the first area that you want to dominate is yourself. Have that real honest conversation with yourself. Today, tonight, why don't I believe that I can get this? Why do I put these limits on myself? I was talking to somebody today and they said, Taylor, I need more hands-on mentorship. And I don't live in Atlanta, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And to be honest, you guys, most times when people give me these things, I just kind of go with it. I'm going to be honest with you. But today, I didn't want to just go with it. And what I told the person is I said, do you think the same way I teach the strategy in person will be the same way I teach the strategy on Zoom? Do you think it will be the same strategy? They said yes. I said, okay, so why would you tell yourself that that's the only way you can learn? If regardless of where I am, it's going to be the same exact information, right? Everybody put me in the chat. What I was telling that person is it has nothing to do with my location. It has nothing to do with my physical location. It has everything to do with you. You told yourself you could only learn this strategy as if I'm sitting right next to you. Even though you just told me I would teach it the exact same way if I was on Zoom. The only difference is that I'm literally physically in front of you. So do you understand, you guys? Put a yes or no. Do you understand how we put these limits on ourselves that don't exist? That limit doesn't exist. You just told yourself you can't learn, although it's the same exact information. And I'm a leader, by the way, and I know leaders who don't, by the way, who do one-on-ones. I will get on a Zoom with just you and just talk to you. Would you guys believe me that right now I have about 30, 40 personals active, and every single last one of them, and this is all I do, by the way, let me know if you need a one-on-one. When I check in, do you need a one-on-one? Every single week, I probably have 2 or 3 people tell me they need a one-on-one. And what does that tell me? Is that we have these limitations, we have these borders, these things set around ourselves that are literally trapping us from going to the next level. That are literally, for even forget even just these type of things. Forget excuses. Our personalities trap us. You need to have dominion over your personality. Do you want to know why? And I've been talking about this a lot. Because your personality is keeping you broke. Your learning style is keeping you broke. That is the truth. Your introvertedness is keeping you broke. I'm introverted naturally. You probably don't believe it. I will be, and I promise this, I could sit in that room by myself for 3-4 days, a week straight, and I would have a ball. I would have a blast. Is anybody like that? I would have a blast. Like, I'm talking about, you will be like, Taylor, you okay? I'm phenomenal. How are you doing? I'm having a blast. That's the honest to God truth. I love people. But I'm just telling you, naturally, me naturally. And sometimes people even be like, Taylor, are you okay? And I'll be like, yeah, are you okay? I'm fine. Oh, because you just kind of, yeah, I like it like that. Go back over there. Naturally, I'm just like this. This is me naturally. But you know what I understood is that I cannot, if I'm knocking on the door of success, how crazy would it be for me to say, success, I need you to manipulate around me? No, I'm going to go to success and I'm going to change. I'm going to grow. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. Right? So guess what? I reach another level. Now I love being around people, but I'm still me. I'll still go. It could be 1,000 people in my house. I will go in my room. Y'all won't even know I left. You be like, where's Taylor? How long has she been gone? When did she leave? You get me? So I'm able to balance. I'm still able to be myself. But I understood that my personality was keeping me broke. I was understanding, and it wasn't even about broke as in money. I mean, broke mentally, broke spiritually, broken. That was what it was. That's what my personality was doing. It was like shooting myself in the foot because I was so set on being who I was, even though I wanted a life that was nothing like the one that I had. So I had to have dominion over myself, saying, Taylor, you're going to be a people person. You're going to pick up this phone. You're going to be excited when you talk to people. You're going to post on Instagram. You're going to become this chairwoman that you keep on asking God to be. And you're going to do it now. Because I'm tired of your stuff. I've been listening to you for the past 24 years. And guess where you've gotten us? Absolutely nowhere. What I want you to do is I want you to shut up. Some of you guys need to tell yourselves to shut up. I told the person that I was talking to, I said, you should probably stop taking it. I said, who gave you that advice? Everybody put that in the chat. Who gave you that advice? I had to literally ask somebody. They said, well, Taylor, this is what, I said, and who gave you that advice? You want to know what they told me? You want to know what they told me? They said, me. Really? You gave you that advice. Now tell me, what's the track record for taking your own advice? And that's not to talk down on anybody, but I gotta be honest with myself. The track record on taking my advice, let me tell you, is broke, busted, and disgusted. That's the track record on taking my advice. Okay? So my advice is not golden. Sometimes you got to stop taking your own advice. In this season, especially if you're serious, not just monetarily, but going to the next level, stop taking your own advice. Stop it. You cannot fix a problem with the same mind that created it. I say this all the time. How in the world are you going to get yourself out of broke when you got you in broke? How are you going to get yourself out of brokenhearted when you got you in brokenhearted? Bishop Brown, he calls it a gap. He said God always leaves a gap. Because if you were able to do everything on your own, you wouldn't have a need for God. You wouldn't have need for relationships. Does anybody know, and this is, no, does anybody know how God moves? Does anybody know how God moves? God moves through people. God moves through people. He does move in mysterious ways. But God moves people through people. How does he get stuff done on the earth? How does he bring heaven down to earth? Through people. Through people. And what are we? In a people business. You have mentors. You have mentees. These are all different people. And when you close yourself out to these people, when you close yourself off, God, you restrict how God can move. See, I know that there's power in a silent place by myself, isolated, because that's how God wired me. I know there's power in that, right? Does anybody put me in the chat again if you're like that? I get energy from being alone. I know some people that get energy in big groups. I'm being transparent with you. I get energy from being alone. That's just me. Doesn't mean I don't like big groups, but that's how I get energy, from being away, right? And then I come back, hey, let's get it. You know, that's just me. God moves through people as well, meaning I know that's powerful. But if the only way God can talk to me, the only way God can reach me is through my flawed mind, my set way of doing things, I restrict. I put him in a box. Meaning, God, you got to move when I'm by myself, though. I don't want to rely on nobody else, God. So guess what? You restrict. You restrict the things that could come into your life. You restrict the ways that God can get to you, how he can speak to you. So we have to have dominion over ourselves and telling ourselves, look, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And it's me and you, and it's been me and you. But look, we're going to have to put some extra things up in here. We're going to have to get some different people up in here. We're going to have to get some mentors up in here. We're going to have to get some books up in here. We're going to have to get some self-development up in here. We're going to have to get some YouTube videos up in here, some Sarah Jakes Roberts up in here, because you is driving me crazy. You and me is driving me crazy. And we getting nowhere fast. We getting nowhere fast. So the first area is having dominion over yourself. That's the first area. And honestly, you guys, there's no way to really coach on that. It's kind of like what Leah was saying. It's like you just got to have that combo with yourself. And you just got to get real deep and down with yourself. That's the first area. The second area is situations. Everybody put situations. This is very big. Because even though you might start to exercise dominion over yourself, you have to be, it would be remiss of you. This has been my favorite word the last couple of days. I keep on saying remiss. It's like I just keep getting situations where I can say it, but it would be remiss of you to think that no situations are going to test that. That nothing's gonna happen in your life. Right? Like my mom used to always say, like, I'm not going to do that because, look, I'm not going back to what God saved me from. Right? Basically saying this situation, we can go there, but I'm not going to do that. Right? And that's the second way that you have dominion. You have dominion over situations, things that are happening inside of your life. Because you can be self-development. You could be reading the books. You could be taking a long time. You could be working out. You could be doing all those things. But to be honest, you guys, things are still going to happen to you. That's what I recognized a couple of weeks ago. things are still happening to me. You wanna know why? Because it's life. But guess what? This is what I want you to understand, is that whether you were doing this or not, whether you were trading Forex or not, whether you were in wealthy empire or not, it was still gonna happen. It was still gonna happen. So you might as well get closer to the highest version of yourself. You might as well go accomplish every single goal that you set out to do. Because if you let a situation take you out, you're gonna be in the same exact position that you were in when you decided to start. When you decided to start. So having dominion over your situation, once again, how do I have dominion? Speak. You speak to your situation. You speak to it. When I was I remember this one time it was me and Tez, and I had overdrew my account, right? And Tez said something weird. He said, screenshot it. And I said, first of all, shouldn't even be looking at my phone. So you really need to back up. Once again, dominion over yourself. You just be acting goofy. You need to back up. This ain't none of your business. But he was saying screenshot it so you don't ever forget it. And I want you to speak what you want that account to say. And you know, when you're not in a good mood, certain things just sound dumber and dumber. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, first of all, this is not the time. I don't feel like all this rah-rah motivational stuff, because that's not gonna put the money back in my account. So I'm not in the mood for that. And no. So I started saying it, but it's like half-hearted, you know, like, so he goes, well, just repeat after me then. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a 6-figure bank account. And the whole time you sitting there like, I'm so happy and grateful now I have a 6-figure bank account. And you know how Ted said, come on, get excited about it. Say it like you believe it. And you're like, relax. Because it's not even that serious. And I just honestly don't. You start telling yourself all these things. And you guys don't do this in actual conversation. You do it when we on these calls. You do it when we at the events. You know? And you're like, why are they so dang on happy? You want to know why? You want to know why? Because if I'm not happy, if I'm not excited, then all I got to sit with is the life I don't want. All I got to sit with is the bank account I don't want. And it's free to tell myself a story. I might as well tell the story that feels better. I might as well tell the story that I really want. Because if I don't, what good is it in sitting in pity? What good is it is in sitting in misery? Once again, why? And it's called, I want you to write this down, it's called self-sabotage. See, what happens is that you start working on all these good things, you start working on all these things, and then a situation comes and you self-sabotage it because you think, I knew it. I knew failure was right around the corner. I knew I was winning too much. I knew I was too happy. Can I be honest with you guys? There were times when I was too happy. Anybody ever feel like that? And you just start thinking, your mind goes south fast. It's like as soon as you realize I'm too happy, everything just starts tumbling down like Humpty Dumpty. Like, you be like, exactly, something bad's about to happen. I could just feel it. I don't know what it is. That's self-sabotage. I used to really talk about it a lot, especially when I first started. It's called muscle memory. See, did you know that you can have muscle memory for despair? You can have muscle memory for depression. You can, when Amber said you need to forgive yourself, I felt that. I don't know if you guys felt that, but I felt that. You can have muscle memory for unforgiveness. You can have muscle memory. Like, there, especially when I first started dating Tez, oh my gosh, if you guys can hear our conversations. Tez used to be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, and one time he literally asked me, like, what goes on in your brain that you just begin to think like that? Like, he was really trying to understand. It's like, let's say he posts me, for example. why are you trying to post and just like, what is it? Am I just like some, like, you just trying to showcase that you like, that you got some, like, what is this all about? Like, what a horrible way to think. You wanna know why? Because I had muscle memory for somebody being ashamed to be with me. I had muscle memory for somebody not valuing me. So when somebody did, it was like, what's that all about? See, having dominion over the situations. There was one particular conversation me and Tess had, and it was on me. I can be honest with that. It was on me. And by the end of that conversation, you wanna know what I said to myself? I said, Taylor, you need to get it together. This situation, not gonna happen again. It wasn't a conversation with Tess. It wasn't a conversation with my parents. It was a conversation with me. Where I had to say, the next time you're in this situation, you're gonna be a different person. The next time you're in this situation, you're gonna act like you blessed. You're gonna act like a woman of God. You're gonna act like somebody who's full of love. You're gonna act like somebody who's warm. You're gonna act like somebody who's forgiving people. You're gonna act like you're not the most perfect thing in the world. That's how you're gonna act the next time a situation like this happens. That's how you have dominion over your situations. You start speaking to it. You start saying, the next time that I'm in a blown account, I'm gonna act differently. The next time that I don't like something that my mentor says, I'm gonna act differently. I'm gonna react differently. Because the enemy, he can bring the same situation to you to see if you're the same person. He can bring the same situation to you to see if you're the same person. How do I have dominion in that situation? By being a different person, by creating a new muscle memory. Some of you guys need to create a muscle memory for success, a muscle memory for positivity. That uncomfortability that we were talking about that we feel is because of you have a muscle memory for things that you do not want. People you do not want to be around. It's like that person who complained about this friend so much, and then you get on Instagram and they having lunch with them. What point is that? You just said you don't like her. You just said he get on your nerves. Now y'all just gonna spend more time together? It makes no sense. That's how you look, literally. You're just gonna sit with the same things that you've already been sitting with, and you're not gonna get different results. Last thing to have dominion over. So it's self, situations, and Satan. I mean, I was trying to come up with a different word, but that's what my notes say. It says Satan. So we just gotta go there. Everybody put lies in the chat. Lies. The enemy to me is the father of lies. And if you know anything about destructive patterns or a life that you don't want, lies can be just as powerful as the truth, especially if you believe them. Especially if you believe them. So where I want to go with dominion over Satan is having dominion over the lies in your life. The lies. The lies that people have told you. The lies that you have told yourself. The lies that you have believed around yourself, around success, around relationships, around love, around friendship. This opportunity challenged every single last one of those areas. And I realized I had been lied to a lot in my life. And not always by people, but I've been lied to a lot. Introverted people can be successful. A lot of billionaires are actually introverted. Lie number one. All rich people are not unhappy, and they all don't leave God. They all don't just leave their faith. They don't all sell their soul. Lie number two. Name some lies in the chat that you've been told, or lies that have been happening in your life. Lies. I saw this meme on a Shade Room, I think, or it was on Instagram. And they basically said it was like all these lies that Black parents told their kids, right? That's not true, by the way. But they said, like, you know, you can't go swimming after you eat because you'll get a cramp. They were like, that's not true. And there was another one, like, you can't drive with the light on. Like, that's not true either. No one loves me. That's a lie. A lie I used to always tell myself is, I don't know if I'm ever going to be healed after this. Another lie I used to always tell myself, I don't think I'm ever going to meet anybody that can love like me. I don't think I'm going to ever meet anybody that can love me like how I love people. Women can't all hang around each other because there'll always be conflict. I'll never be happy. I'm never going to be nothing. I'm always going to be broken. I'll never feel safe. Money is the root of all evil. I was never going to be good enough. See, these are all lies. You could never. These are all lies. All lies that have been told to you or that you believed. Lies. Dominion. How do I have dominion over lies? And it's not even deep, y'all. Do you want to know how you can have dominion over lies? Everybody put the truth. So you can't have dominion over lies by your exercise routine. You can't have dominion over lies by your new diet plan. Not even by getting new friends. Not even by getting a new boyfriend, a new girlfriend. That's not even how you have dominion over lies. You have dominion over lies by inserting the truth, otherwise known as the facts. The facts. That is how you have dominion over the lies in your life, by the truth. And feelings are not facts. Feelings aren't facts. The truth is literally the truth. It's like black or white. It's the truth. See, the truth is, let me read some of these lines. The truth is that one of them was you could never. The truth is that you could. You could always. That's the truth. That's the truth. I was never going to be good enough. The truth is you were always good enough. That's the truth. Money brings evil to your life. The truth is that money brings good to your life. Money just makes you more of who you already are. Money is the root of all evil. The truth is that the love of money is the root of all evil. My bipolar disorder will get in the way of all my relationships. The truth is that no one won't. That's the truth. I know this wasn't necessarily a business call, but honestly, you guys have got so much business stuff this week. I really didn't have much business left to talk about. But I want you to understand that dominating in your life, let me read this to you again. It is God's will that you dominate in life. Meaning he created you, he wired you to dominate. Out of all the creatures in the earth, out of all the people, all the things, in the earth, we are the only ones that can do certain things like grow, change, think, have futures, reproduce. Well, other things can reproduce, but you get what I'm saying. Generational. There's so many things that we do that other living beings can't do. So it is God's will that you dominate in life. I want you guys to write this down. And I'm going to repeat it, okay? I will always have money and material goods. I will always have money and material goods for every want, every need, every desire, because I'll owe no man, because I'll owe no man except to love him. I will always have money and material goods for every want, every need, every desire, because I'll owe no man except to love him. And that I am a giver. Read it one more time. I will always have money and material goods for every want, every need, every desire, because I'll owe no man except to love him. And that I am a giver. There we go, Daisha. Thank you, Daisha. She just wrote it in the chat. One of the biggest lies of my life was that statement right there. I didn't know that I could have dominion like this statement right here. That I owe no man except to love him. That I owe no woman except to love them. And that I am a giver. The affirmations that I've been saying, and we're going to end here. The affirmations that I've been saying, where's my notebook? Let me go grab my notebook. I want to grab it. Hold on. So God gave me these affirmations while I was in Texas. I was in Texas. And I wrote them in my notes. And I've been saying them, but really, it's not more so I'm reciting like a mantra. It's like I really just pray on them, to be honest. And the first one is, I'm a servant, therefore I am never in need. I will always have money and material goods for every want, every need, every desire, because I owe no man except to love him, and that I am a giver. I am a servant, therefore I am never in need. I'm never in need. I exist to serve other people. I exist to help other people. I will never want for anything. Does anybody believe that you'll never want for anything? I want you to think bigger than Forex right now. I want you to think bigger than money in minutes, if that's okay. Because need doesn't always necessarily mean financial. I just will never need. I'm never in need. I live an abundant life. I'm never in need of a leader. I'm never in need of another Platinum 2000. I'm never in need of another trade. I'm never in need of, I'm a servant. And when you serve, it is how life works, how God works, how spiritual laws work. Is when I serve, I'm always going to be taken care of. I am not entitled, therefore I am always grateful. I am not entitled, therefore I'm always grateful. See, I'm not entitled for you guys to click the link on Saturday. That's why I'm grateful for everybody that clicked it. I'm not entitled for any of those leaders to come and speak on Miss Dominate. That's why I was so grateful. I made sure to tell them 30,000 times how grateful I was. And when you're always grateful, guess what? You're always operating in abundance because everything is a blessing. Everybody put everything is a blessing in the chat. Everything's a blessing. Everything is a blessing. You click the link, that's a blessing. You join the business, that's a blessing. You left the business, that's a blessing. Because you were here for 1 week, you were here for 2 weeks. That's a blessing. I hope you left with some value. I hope you got on a call and you heard something that is going to change your life. See, I don't know what seed God, I don't know what path or what journey God has you on, but the fact that he put you in mind, I mean, it has to mean something. Everything is a blessing. And the last one, I am whole, therefore my spiritual DNA is perfect. And that's the one I want to talk about specifically as we end. I am whole, therefore my spiritual DNA is perfect. The hardest thing when I was healing, going through my healing journey, was saying I am whole. I want you guys to practice, especially to my women. I want you to practice saying, I am whole. Because when you say, I am whole, you begin to say, I trust you. You begin to do things where you become whole. So, for example, I told you guys I was fed up with you. I'm tired of you. And although that was the start, although that was where it began, I had to learn to trust me again. I had to learn to trust myself again. Because who else is going to make my decisions? Who else is going to love me when nobody else is loving me? Who else is going to listen to me when I don't want to talk to anybody else but myself? So yes, get real fed up with you so that you can knock some sense into you. But you also have to practice believing that you are whole and that your spiritual DNA is perfect. Meaning like how you were crafted, how you were created. I'll give you a perfect example. Have you ever made a mistake and it ended up turning out to be for your good? Put a yes or no. Yeah, it hurt, but it ended up turning out being for your good. Long, bigger picture, it ended up being for your good. That right there shows you your spiritual DNA is perfect. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. Meaning that if you knew how the end result was, it probably wouldn't have broke your heart so bad. If you knew what the end result was, you probably would have been easier on yourself. Like, okay, it wasn't that bad. It actually ended up working out. That alone tells you that your spiritual DNA is perfect. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have any control, no dominion over the things that you're doing. It just simply means that all things, everybody put all things in the chat. All things are working together for your good. I need you to understand that all things are working together for the good of those who love the Lord. That's the full scripture. All things, not some things, not the nice things, not the worst things, not the best things, not the cool things, not the hot things, all things. I want you to practice saying, I am whole. I want you to practice saying these things that we've been talking about tonight, because I need you to trust yourself again. I do. I want you to trust you again, Jasha. Trust this again, Tiana. Trust that you got to take this thing all the way. Because even though I was fed up and done with Taylor, I knew that it was going to be me that would take me to chairwoman. So we got to get this together because it's me and you, baby girl. God only gave us each other. So as messed up as you is, as much as you get on my nerves, let's get it done. What we got to do. Because it's just me and you. It's just me versus me. Yes, you're not perfect. Yes, there's some areas that you need to grow. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody else gonna do it but you. So I need you to trust yourself again. I need you to stop self-sabotage. I need you to really dominate in this life. Dominate yourself. Dominate the situations. Here's a test. When something happens to you, because something's going to happen to you, or it's already happened to you, or it's about to happen to you, be somebody different. I want you to take a second in your head and say, what I would usually do is this, but what I'm going to do this time is this. Have that critical thinking thought. What I usually do is this, but what I'm going to decide to do this time is this. And watch how it challenges you. Watch how it changes you. And you're going to begin to trust yourself again. There was a situation that happened a couple weeks ago, and I literally said to myself, what I would usually do is probably cuss you out. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably make myself look like a fool. And I'll probably start, talking crazy about you on Instagram. And I'm calm. The whole time I'm thinking through this. And I said to myself, but I'm not going to do that. Because I don't owe you nothing but to love you. I don't owe you my peace. I don't owe you my words. I don't owe you my emotion. I don't owe you my anger. I don't owe nothing to you but to love you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wish you peace and blessings. And I'm going to get on with my life. I'm going to get on with my day. I'm gonna get on. And I walked away from that situation. I thought to myself, I like her. I like her. She's dope. I'm liking her. Wouldn't like so much the other girl. She was cool. I mean, I would have understood why she did what she did, but this girl right here, yeah, I can get down with this girl. We could do big things together. That's how you want to talk to yourself. That's how you want to speak to yourself. And that, my family, is how you want to dominate. So I'm really excited. We'll be back again next week with part 2. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be good. And you're just going to get even more value, even more, man, the women that's going to be talking next week. I mean, this week was far beyond. Next week is going to be even farther beyond. And I'm glad that you guys are getting value from this. I'm glad that you're hearing these type of things, because I know that I don't have everything. I know that even though you love me, even though I love you, look, what did I say? God works through people. And sometimes he got to bring in some other people to get to talking to us. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing next week, Thursday and Friday again. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Have a great Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow. The market's open back tomorrow. We're going to get straight to it, just like how Wealthy Empire does. You guys have a great night. Talk to you soon.